Hey there, it's Kayla, and welcome to On the Fritz, where I talk about books in a hot mess fashion. And yeah, I haven't filmed in a long time. Let's get into the 30 manga I read in April. So to preface my reading taste a little bit, I'm a big comic reader, and I was never a big manga reader. I wasn't a fan of the black and white art style that is pretty stapled in most, if not all, manga out there. But my friends were doing a thing in April, and I wanted to participate. And they've been recommending a lot of great manga out there. And so I decided to jump in. So I watched The Promised Neverland on Netflix, and season 1's on there. I watched it all in one day and I became obsessed. So I wanted to continue on and read the manga. So for April, I read volumes 3 through 20 of The Promised Neverland, which is the entire series. It was so good. Oh. A new favorite. It is like a horror, fantasy, sci-fi fusion. It's also very sweet. It's about these children in this orphanage, and they all see each other as siblings, and each of them gets adopted at various ages, and it opens up with two of the older siblings. One of the younger girls is being adopted. She goes to leave and she accidentally leaves behind her favorite stuffed rabbit, her pet rabbit, or a stuffed rabbit. And so they go to like try to give it to her before she leaves, and they witness what is actually going down with the orphanage. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it is so good. It is bananas. It's very fast-paced. The first like big arc that follows the first season is probably the slowest build. Then after that, it is just a sprint through all the different arcs, all the different things that happen. So my only critique for this series is that it would have been stretched out and build the drama and build certain character arcs a little bit more, because some of them just go down in a couple chapters, let alone a volume. I liked it. It was fast-paced. It was emotional. It was heartbreaking. It was horrific. All kinds of plot twists left and right. It could have easily been a like 30 volume series, but it was written in 30, and it was written in 20, and it was done really well, and I highly recommend it. The last 2 volumes aren't published out yet as of filming this, but they are available. All the chapters are available on the Shonen Jump app. If you pay $1.99 for a monthly subscription, you get access to 100 chapters a day from various manga titles. This Promised Neverland is on there. And so you can read the last 2 volumes on there. Oh, I will say for this Promised Neverland, I gave, I think, every single volume 5 stars. Amazing. Okay, so after I marathoned through that entire series, I went in and I picked up Elfinlyde by Lynn Okamoto. I had never heard about this series before. It was recommended to me on Amazon. It's something that popped up. I clicked on it because I liked the artwork. I thought it was very unique. And it turns out that this is what inspired Stranger Things, at least part of it, part of the storyline. So I picked it up, and oh boy. So I got from the library, I got the omnibus, so it's technically 3 volumes in one. I read for the 30 and 30, I read Omnibus 1 and Omnibus 2. And I have some feelings. So this is a horror sci-fi series that is about these girls that are born with horns. You can't see because of the sticker, but they have like little horns on their heads. It looks like ears, but they're horns. And they have psychic abilities and are very, very dangerous and basically just want to kill humans and wipe out humanity. And we follow a main character. She gets like washed up and she has memory loss. So she can't speak, she can't function normally, and so she's kind of learning things on the fly. She is found by these two characters, these two friends, and they all have their backstory and they're all like basically intertwined in some way or fashion. And all of that is great and grand and a good story. But this book is full of unnecessary fan service. It is horror primarily. There's a lot of heads being blown off, body part, just a lot of death and murder. And then the next panel will be a panty shot. It'll be a detailed panty shot. And she's 15 and there's other characters that are 10, 12, 6. There's nudity in here, so you see a lot of boobs. And it just, in my opinion, seems very unnecessary. I think the author was trying to convey that, for one, these girls born with horns mature earlier. So while they are young in age, they look older in body. Okay. And then with this one that loses her memory, it's kind of showing how naive she is and what little she knows, and she ends up like groping everybody she comes in contact with. So there's like a lot of like unwanted assault. In the second volume, there's like animal cruelty, there's pedophilia. The third one I'm currently reading, I do plan on finishing the series. There's, yeah, more assault, more animal cruelty. I mean, it's horror, but it is disturbing to see in visual format. And like I said, it's like there's a lot of sexual horror elements that are maybe there to cause more uneasiness, but there's just a lot of shots that really aren't necessary. Like, they could be done in a different way, but that's the author's choice. I will say in Omnibus 2, there is, like, most of it, I ended up giving this one 3 stars, where Volume 1 was 2 stars. This one has a really great backstory that connects our characters together. There is no unnecessary nudity. There is no unnecessary panty shots. It really just actually reads like like it was written by someone, a completely different author. I will also say that this series does remind me of The Girls by the Luna Brothers, or Girls by the Luna Brothers, which is a horror sci-fi comic series by Image. And it is my only rant review here on my channel, and it is very similar. It is horror sci-fi. It has nude women that go around killing people. It has sexually deprived male character who falls under the influence of these women, and just reads very anti-women in a sense. So very similar to that. However, just like I marathon through The Girls, I am marathoning through this series. I'm almost done with Volume 3, and then I'll finish the series with Volume 4 very soon. So that's that. And the last series I read Volumes 1 through 10 of Yona of the Dawn by Mizuho Kusanagi. And oh my gosh, this is so good. So I've heard so many of my friends throw this title around. I knew it was fantasy. That's all I knew. So I jumped in, got a bunch of copies electronically from my library. And yeah, it is amazing. So it is fantasy. We follow Yona, who's just turning 16. She's naive young princess who is in love with her cousin. There is cousin love also in Elfinlyde too, so I don't know. That's just a thing, I guess. And then something tragic happens and she's on the run with her bodyguard, and the story kind of starts from there. It is fantasy. There is a big prophecy involved, which is one of my buzzwords, and a big plot line here, at least in the beginning, is found family. And so she slowly kind of collects people into her group, and all the characters are so well done, so well developed. They each have their own point of view. They each have their own voice. They feel relevant. They serve a purpose. And you really see Yona grow each volume from this sheltered, naive princess to this girl just trying to survive and learning what is really going on in the kingdom. There's some really great character development. It's a slower pace, where this Promised Neverland was just warp speed. This one is taking its time to slowly develop the characters and the relationships. There is this like slow build tension. Like it kind of felt like it was gonna be a love triangle, and then now it's kind of like just an unrequited love thing with her bodyguard Hawk, and I love that because he is just smitten by her, and like they were childhood friends, so there's also that element, and she is just completely oblivious to his feelings for her, and for good reason, because she's busy doing other things. She's not that young child who was obsessed about love and happily ever afters anymore. She's got more important things to deal with. So I'm currently on volume 11. There's, I think, 30 something volumes out, and it's still being published as far as I know. I didn't want to look into it too much because I don't want to accidentally spoil myself for anything online. So with Yona of the Dawn, I gave almost every single volume I read 5 stars. I did give one of the volumes 4 stars because most of it shifted focus and was showing what like one of the villains or anti-heroes or one of the other characters was doing, and it was kind of drawn out and it kind of felt unnecessary, but I'm assuming it is necessary because there's probably going to be a character arc for this person as well. So that volume got 4 stars just because not only do I not like that character, but it didn't add as much to the whole story, at least at this point in time. So that's why. Yay, thank you Izzy, Shay, and Tamika for hosting this 30 and 30 for April. I hope you guys do it again. It was the perfect push to really push me into picking up manga that I normally would not have. Like I said before, this is not the first manga that I've ever read. I've just been very deterred from the medium because of the black and white art style, but I've learned that just because it ain't in color doesn't mean it's not worthwhile. It doesn't mean it has amazing stories and new all-time favorite series. Like, I'm so grateful. So I hope you guys do it again. Social media and other information is down below. If you want to be friends on other places, consider subscribing if you want to see more content from me. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!